All right, let's take you now to Durban, where the former Chief Justice is currently briefing media outside the home of the late Pravin Gordhan.
Of the commission that I chaired, he was a very brave man. He was very humble. He always knew the right thing to do and did it. And he put up a big fight to prevent the capture of the national treasury. And of course, many of you will remember his evidence in the commission, which was very extensive, which helped us understand what really happened with regard to state capture. So he has made a very important contribution to the liberation of South Africa. He has made a very important contribution to try and fight corruption and state capture. And that is something that all of us should try and emulate.
How do South Africans honor his legacy?
I think that the best way to honor his legacy would be, one, for us to rededicate ourselves to doubling our efforts in corruption and state capture, but two, that we all remember to put the people first in whatever we do, because throughout his life, he put the people of South Africa first, and that's what we should all do.
Are you enjoying your retirement?
Well, I'm enjoying waking up and not having to. I think that after I finish some loose ends that I must tie, I will be enjoying it quite a lot.
Maybe one more question from my end, if my colleagues don't mind. There was a time, a period in his professional life when things didn't look well. In that time, let's speak about 2017, the time he was recalled as a finance minister by former President Jacob Zuma. That period in his life was a very trying one. Speak to us about how your perspective during that time and how he handled that particular period of his political
life. Well, he handled that time with absolute dignity. He handled that time in a very purposeful way, because he knew what he was doing, and he knew what those who were pursuing a state capture were trying to do, and he didn't want to make it easy for them, and that was very important. Yeah.
Just one question for mine, Mr. Zondo. What do you say to his detractors who are really coming guns blazing, saying all sorts of allegations with regards to him and his tenure at SARS, state capture, what's currently taking place? I'm sure you've seen some of the social media vitriol.
Well, I haven't seen, but I've heard some of the things that some people are saying about him. But those are people who would never say anything good about him. Those are people who have hated him for a long time. Those are people, or some of them at least, are people who have accused him of corruption, and yet they've never come up with any evidence. They've had all the opportunities, and they just saying all kinds of things. Pravin Gordhan was an honourable man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, of course, that is the former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo there outside the home of the late Minister and ANC stalwart Pravin Gordhan. His body, of course, was flown from Johannesburg to Durban ahead of that special funeral that will be taking place tomorrow. Zondo there saying that Gordhan made a very important contribution to South Africa in the fight against corruption, particularly as well as the fight against state capture.